This is the TIP Network, where we help you level up your self-improvement with the ever so present sprinkle of sarcasm. So as you can tell, Scott likes to say, we are in the, what do you call it?
The metaverse. Come on, you gotta keep up the times.
Metaverse.
I'm going blockchain on this.
So we're virtual. We're not in the same place, but we still have the fire background, letting you know what it is. But what brings us together on this special occasion?
Well, it's a the DJ Akademiks calling out Rollo Tomassi by name, showing a clip of him on his live stream. So we see that DJ Akademiks is no fan of Rollo Tomassi because it seems like Rollo Tomassi is saying that DJ Akademiks is setting up FreshandFit for failure. So is that really the case though? Because it seems like DJ Akademiks provides a lot of supporting evidence that it's not the case, that in fact, DJ Akademiks is bringing FreshandFit to the mainstream, which dun, dun, dun. Well, I thought they weren't going to go mainstream. I thought that's what I heard from the FreshandFit fans.
That's on our so when we did our FreshandFit versus the music industry, and I said there's that they want to be mainstream, that they care about the music business. We had people in our comment section telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a fool, of course. I mean, even though a guy with
we're gonna put some graphics here too.
Don't know what I'm talking about, and that they don't care about that. I was disingenuous with my arguments, and basically DJ Akademiks comes out and says exactly what I said in the stream
for 47 minutes.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago. Now, one thing I like about DJ Akademiks is he's so transparent with what he wants and what he does. He's not scared. And I mean, first thing he'll tell you is that he doesn't give a flying F about the manosphere. First thing he says it's a very small niche. Keep your little fans over there. As he told Rollo Tomassi, sit in the corner while you're here.
He left some very violating comments, as you put it.
Well, look.
And his whole thoughts on the manosphere red pill space, let's just say it's not in high regard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he doesn't care. And I want to break this down in two different ways. Number one, DJ Akademiks is known to violate. He's built his career off of being bombastic and going after people and stepping on their necks. A matter of fact, the biggest thing that he told Joe Budden is that when Rory and Maul left, that Joe should have stayed on their necks and never let them get another platform. And he said that, basically Joe let them have a bag. So DJ Akademiks is not just competitive, it's domination. The second thing is that it's just the reality is that the manosphere is very small, growing, but very small. I mean, the biggest manosphere content creator is probably Kevin Samuels. Kevin Samuels is about 1.2, 1.3 million followers. But that's tiny compared to other giants in the game. I mean, you just go from the top to the bottom. You have people with 22 million, 11 million, 9 million, easily. And so these are just small content creators. And basically, yes, you have a fan base that's loyal, that's a high retention, that's highly engaged, that pledges money, but it's not the type of Akademiks money that he's looking at. It's not the 20, 30, 40, $50 million Spotify deal money.
Oh, wait. I thought, didn't someone say in the comment section that DJ Akademiks isn't even mainstream? So how does someone with a Spotify deal not be considered mainstream? I think that's pretty mainstream of the mainstreams once you get into those big internet platforms that's distributing your content.
It's just one
with a locked-in licensing deal.
It's just one of those interesting situations where people are idiots and they're just stupid. They don't know anything. And this is what happens when the majority of your fans are between 17 and 24. DJ Akademiks, they weren't even allowed to watch YouTube when DJ Akademiks started on YouTube. So if you're 20 years old, 10 years ago when Akademiks started, you were 10. You didn't know. I mean, you were playing with G.I. Joes. You were playing with toys or whatever, right?
Well, he's not been around that long, like 10 years.
Akademiks has a 10-year. Akademiks has a 10-year reign. And actually, he got popping 10 years ago but Akademiks probably been around on YouTube for 11 years, 12 years. Mm-hmm. His third year, and he pointed this out, his third year, he had more subscribers and more retention than Rollo Tomassi.
He made it very well known in that video. Clearly, explicitly stated multiple times that he's been the guy that's the progenitor of the YouTube streets for the red pill and manosphere space. Well, not really the red pill space, but he's been it. He's the OG YouTuber.
Well, what he's saying is that he is the culture. And honestly, you got to give it to him. When it comes to the culture, talking about hip hop, which people don't even understand how mainstream hip hop is. And this is one of the funniest things.
Really? They don't understand how mainstream hip hop is?
Because people will be like,
oh my God.
Fresh and Fit, they're mainstream because they can talk to all men and all people. And hip hop is a very small part of the world, but they don't understand hip hop is the most consumed music in the world, and it's
around the world.
And it's also made so many different types of genres of music are now copying hip hop. So if you look at the majority of popular music, it's basically, you would call it hip hop 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it's the same type of beat. The producers crossover. You know,
I mean, just think about the whole Asian music scene that's really big now, the Korean music scene.
Yeah,
which was like totally non-existent about 15 years ago. Well, they were having hip hop cultural beats influence inside of their music, and now it's being transported over here to the United States. And Korean music happens to be like one of the most popular musics in the United States. Go figure about that.
China, Mongolia, which Mongolia is a small population, but I just mentioned it because I've been here.
And most of their music is hip hop influenced to the core.
even if it's salsa, reggaeton comes on and everyone gets off with just hip hop influence, right? And so it's just one of those situations where when people don't understand what they're talking about and they're just reaching for straws to justify it, they'll say something like DJ Akademiks is not as big or not as important as a Fresh and Fit, because they'll rationalize stupidly that Fresh and Fit is 93% of all men, not understanding that hip hop is highly consumed by women, and once women start consuming that, men go and buy it for the women anyway, because that's where most of men's money goes to. And so it's like not even paying attention to the manosphere space or the things that they actually say, and just playing an incel game basically, because look, these guys, most of them aren't going to spend money on women anyway, so they don't know because they don't get dates. Going back to DJ Akademiks, it was classic Akademiks. It's funny, so I'm watching it and he says, I'm not going to violate him, because he probably don't know who I am. As soon as he said that, I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, he's going to violate him. As soon as he said that, I was like, he is going to violate the bejesus out of those folks, which he did, which he just, I mean, and there was some violations off of, there are some violations of I mean, Myron too there. Mm-hmm. There was a huge violation of Myron by Fresh. Explain that. Huh? Well,
how did he violate Myron?
Not so much Akademiks, but Akademiks hooks up the Brittany Renner interview.
Okay.
And he says, hey, and he says, as soon as he picks up the phone with Fresh, he says, hey, are you ready to go viral? Mm-hmm. And Fresh says, what do you mean? Yeah. You know, I can't do the voice like Ayende, but Fresh, yeah. Or grind and motivate. You know, Fresh says, yeah, it's going viral. He says, because I can get Brittany Renner. And he says, do you want to do it? And he's like, yes, 100%. It's like, all right. Ak says, tell Myron, and let's go. And Fresh says, no, don't tell Myron. Whatever you do, don't tell Myron.
But why would he not want to tell Myron about the Brittany Renner interview?
Because Brittany Renner said no to coming on Fresh and Fit, and Myron would not do the interview.
So you telling me, all right, so all the plays that Fresh and Fit have been doing, you can obviously tell that they're going to go towards mainstream. But you're also telling me that Myron's willing to jeopardize going mainstream by not wanting to do an interview with Brittany Renner on DJ Akademiks, because his pride would get in the way of doing a meaningful viral interview, which would cause them to have more traffic, more eyes, more attention on their brands.
Well, whether that's the truth or not, Fresh believed that, and that's the problem. That's the problem, that Fresh believed that. And so it kind of goes with all of the stuff we've heard in the background, all of the folks we've talked to from Miami, all of the folks who's around them has said that Fresh is the networking guy, Myron is the taskmaster, right?
I mean, you can see that especially on screen. I mean,
But one
parent.
thing we did realize from talking to just some folks is that Myron is horrible with people, and Fresh didn't want to give up this opportunity. It also lets me know that probably I say theoretically, they're probably going in two different directions. Where Myron may be comfortable in the manosphere because he knows it and he can have his talking points and he can say the same stuff over and over again. And quite honestly, his audience just eats it up. But Fresh probably is more towards the money. I mean, you know, I both, I never said these guys don't make money. I don't think they're making $300,000 a month. Like I literally had somebody hit me up and say, these guys are making $500,000 a month. What are you making? And I told them, well, not 500,000 a month. I'll tell you that. But I don't think they're making some astronomical money. I don't think they're making $15-16 million a year. But I do think that they're making a good amount of money for their space. But once you bump into that, they probably hit their ceiling of what they can make. Because even with 1 million subscribers, they're not going to have a million subscribers super chatting them every night. They're not going to have 1 million subscribers watching everything. I mean, really, 1 million subscribers, and if they get 100,000 views, that's 10% for each video. That's great. But they also have such a high level of output that people can get fatigued. I mean, I know people who like Fresh and Fit and says, man, I haven't watched them for a week because it's just too much. They're on every day. They're on every night. You know, like I got to pick between the girls, and I got to pick between the girls or pick between stuff, financial information, because it's just I have a life too. You know, I'm working. I have stuff to do.
Well, coming from the creator economy side of looking at things, the magic number that most YouTubers are trying to go for is the 1 million subscriber mark. Because with the 1 million subscriber mark, it gives the brand, in this case, Fresh and Fit, more leverage with other platforms like Spotify, so they can start to hash out brand deals. So if you think about it that way, there's a reason why they're putting out so much work right now, because they're making their way towards a mainstream deal like with Spotify and other platforms, so they can start to scale back on their work while at the same time still having enough reach, influence, and as well as making sure their paycheck isn't hit as hard. Yeah. So
which makes,
I believe that's exactly what they're trying to do.
Which makes total sense, except their content, as just DJ Akademiks said, it's a potent message that's too potent for mainstream. And I mean, you could tell by the way the Shade Room, by the way Black Twitter, by the way all of these magazines, people who never don't even know what the manosphere is, don't even understand, don't care about men's issues, will never talk about men's issues, right? People like that. I mean, I was waiting for The View to pick it up. I was waiting for it to go that big, but you know, like Dave Chappelle said something that, you know, everybody wants to be famous, but you can never get uninfamous. And they're on the verge of infamy, and they're never going to live that down. And that's why Akademiks said, hey, stop interviewing our entertainers all together. But he also pointed out, as I said, that he was the one who got Kodak Black, and Kodak Black only went there because of him.
Wait, let me jump in real quick. So DJ Akademiks introduced him to The Flagrant 2 with Andrew Schultz and Akash. He also was trying to set him up with DJ Vlad, then of course the Brittany Renner. So a lot of these mainstream rappers, mainstream artists came from DJ Akademiks. I believe Agent also came from DJ Akademiks, but I could be wrong, so you can double check me on that. So everything that is coming Fresh and Fit's way in terms of mainstream appeal of artists and entertainers and influencers has been coming through DJ Akademiks' door.
Don't forget Adam 22 also.
Adam 22, yeah.
No Jumper Podcast. Flagrant Adam 22 tried to Vlad passed on him. Yeah, 100% Vlad passed on him, said he just doesn't want to be with that message. I mean, quite honestly, and I can see Vlad passing on it, which good for Vlad. I mean, if he doesn't want to be involved, he's big enough to just say no.
And one more thing is that DJ Akademiks says the only guy from the Red Pill Manosphere space that can get away with going towards mainstream and has a wider appeal towards the mainstream is someone like Kevin Samuels. So if you don't have the ability to work, to speak the media language like Kevin Samuels, then what they're talking about on Fresh and Fit will most likely be regulated into regular. Oh my God, I can't say this. Relegated into the Red Pill Manosphere space, where it's not going to take off too much.
To really read into what Akademiks said with that, I really think that it was a pivot. I think that Kevin Samuels, because he's articulate, because he's been in the business world, his pivot will be a lot less than everyone else's pivot. Like you take someone like you take someone like, I just say Fresh and Fit, since we're talking about them, they have to make a huge 180-degree pivot. Like they would have to change how they talk to women altogether. Well, we've seen Kevin Samuels interview some women and have a conversation with them that's not super combative. I mean, him with Brittany Renner was a perfect example. You know, what he did with those ladies in Miami when he went and rented that hotel room and set up a studio and had those ladies in Miami. I mean, he's going to do that more and more often. And I mean, and I've just been hearing from some folks that he has a BET Plus show on the table or on the books. It could just be rumor, but I can see Kevin Samuels very easily transitioning into like a BET Plus streaming or a BET service, which it would be easier for him, you know, because I mean, besides the fact of like what he says, he looks a certain way. He looks like a gentleman. And he can behave like a gentleman, right? And so, and even if people are like, oh, well, he's old fashioned with what he thinks. I mean, who's gonna get mad at him when he's trying to put black families together? Like, who's gonna get mad at him? You know?
Like I said, I'm gonna keep coming back from the creator economy perspective. Now, looking at through the lens of a buying audience, will I want to sit there and watch two dudes, or mainly just Myron here, yelling at girls the whole time and not really? I don't want to see someone just insulting girls the whole time. I want to see an actual dialogue between someone that's well put, that's articulate, like Kevin Samuels, talking with other females. And as a female, I would think, I know I'm kind of speaking for the girls right here, I would think that now, since now I'm more engaged with the discussion, what's happening to females, well, my attention is more on viewing the content, which allows advertisers to put in more ads into the content. So instead of being outraged by this one clip, I'll actually stay for the whole entire show being shown with all these different ads being put to my face. And now there's more chances for the advertisers to make more money because the content has more of that mainstream appeal.
And 100%, if Miss Pat can get a BET Plus show where she's foul-mouthed and lets it rip, and I love Miss Pat, one of my favorite comedians, you know, and a great story, which I would love to figure out a way to cover a story of hers before, because it's just inspirational to me personally. But if she can have a BET Plus show and she's as blue comedian as can get, you know, just foul-mouthed, and her whole show subject matter was adult subject matter, right? Then Kevin Samuels can have a show on BET Plus. And I just think, like, I mean, I think Ayunde has a chance to do something more mainstream if that's what he chooses to do, because I think that basically it's oratory skills and just be able to talk to people without getting upset, and just to be able to every now and again say, oh, okay, I can see that. You know?
And the key component is to keep the viewer engaged with the video. Yeah. Because if you're attacking the other side, if here we are just attacking women, most likely the women are not even tuning into what we're saying anymore. They're going to want to click off the program and go watch something else and then tweet away about their experience with the program of us insulting women. That's how it's going to be. Now, if they can sit there and watch someone engage in natural conversation like Allende or with Kevin Samuels, with any other content creators, that would make more sense on a business perspective. That would be more dollars coming in. Duke
from Duke and Don does a very good job. Even though he's a 20-something-year-old man, he's bombastic. He's like, you know, he gets all hyped up and into. I swear to God, one day his vein popped out in his head. I was like, oh, he's passionate, right? But he also will have a conversation with women, you know, instead of just like accusing them of doing something wrong. And I think he genuinely calls out people that he likes and appreciates when they're doing wrong too. So, you know, I see a little fair and a little accountability. So all of those folks I just said have a better chance of going mainstream than Fresh and Fit, because it's the hard line and the inability to pivot. I mean, everyone has a pivot to make. Everyone has to make some changes. Look, we had to make some changes in our content, just understanding how to be better content creators. Yes. Once we did that, we started seeing a lot more success. It's not that bad. And that's what DJ Akademiks is saying to Fresh and Fit. He's saying, like, listen, guys, your message is potent, but it's too potent for mainstream. So don't even mess with them. Just stay in your corner. But what he's really upset at is Rollo Tomassi saying that he's trying to take advantage of them. And I think he took that really personal, because honestly, when I look at this, if anyone's taking advantage of Fresh and Fit's fame, it's Rollo Tomassi. Rollo Tomassi has no access to any youngsters or anybody who wants to who wants to listen to what he's saying. I mean, when's the last time you sat down and watched an entire Rollo Tomassi stream?
We don't have to talk about what I like to watch for content.
but I mean, I watch
never basically.
I watch a lot of different content, right? But I can tell you that I'd rather watch some dude go bass fishing than watch a whole Rollo Tomassi stream. Because even if you could find value in this message, it's boring. It's just boring. Mm-hmm. It's just him sitting with a guitar behind him.
So I'm not gonna lie, I've sat through and I've listened to a couple of his streams. Now he puts a lot of fluff, a little bit of air. Like he doesn't get to the point right away. Mm-hmm. Right. Like he likes to draw it out. His 3-hour streams could be brought down to about 30 minutes. But that 30 minutes of information that he does give out is very valuable. Now, the real thing is how I find it very difficult for myself that people are unable to graduate from learning about the information, applying in their life, and then moving on to other content that can help their life. Because what he says is it's on repeat. He says exactly what he says from his books. He says it in every video for every live stream. And at what point is it enough for the average viewer? To me, that's where I kind of lose it, because you only need to hear 1 or 2 streams and be like, all right, that's it. That's all the information that you need. It's
kind of like listening to Michael Jackson's Thriller. It's like, man, that was popping 30 years ago. You know, no, actually, I think Thriller's still popping. I might listen to it tonight.
Well, music's all different.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right?
Because it just sounds like a bunch of whining and complaint after a while. Like,
well, because where's the graduation? And I think a lot of folks who listen to this, and I have to say, like, you know, that's why we try to keep it moving. That's why we try to have different subjects, because we just don't want to say the same thing over and over again, you know, or we want to at least say it a little differently, because what you do is your fans start suffering from arrested development, where they're just like, they're just there. They're just not going to move anywhere. They're just happy. You know why they're happy there? Because it feels good. It feels good for someone to do that.
I'll have to say that the one repeated thing I'm on keep saying is develop your passions and pursue your purpose, because that literally is the answer to success in life. Like literally that's what it is, because you keep working on yourself and you work towards a dream, a vision that you that brings value to the world. It will give you value in return. So if you can find that thing, I think that's always like a message that needs to keep being preached. But talking about like the red pill awareness of the real nature of women and how they interact with males in relationships, and how they tend to use males for their own gains because it's through their own mating strategies. Like, I mean, how many times you got to keep ingesting that type of information
until you know it?
Until you know it. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
And also, like, calling it the red pill awareness. It's like, I understand, like they said, the red pill because it was easy to package it and easy to sell it, and this was a selling point. This was marketing, calling it the red pill. The red and the blue pill was marketing, but like, it's been around in forms of the truth forever. Like Patrice O'Neal was talking about it. Chris Rock said, you know, like he said in his comedy special, only women and babies and pets are loved unconditionally. You know, men have to bring something to the table. So we understand all of these things already. People have been telling us already. Your grandfather told you have to get up and go to work every day to be a man, right? I mean, that he wasn't doing that because he wanted. Look, my grandfather didn't get up and go farm every morning because he wanted to go farm. Oh, well, woo, I can't wait to get up and bust my ass in this hayfield. No, he did it because he had to take care of his family, and he knew that if he didn't take care of his family, he didn't have rights to call himself the head of the household.
And that, what would that be? The purpose is to take care of your family. The passions would be learning different farm skills, farm knowledge.
That was a necessity. That was
but that, you know, I'm trying to say, bring it to that times and to make it compatible that to times. I'm using that as an analogy. He needed to learn some farm skills to make sure he provides for his family, because the purpose of his life was to provide for his family.
Right, for his family.
Like, so at what point where it's saying like women are going to always use us, and they're here practicing hypergamy as well as monkey branching to other dudes. All right, so you know that right now. So what? Like, how many more times does it need to be said that for you to actually understand and get it?
Because it's a marketing ploy. It's because it's money, man. Because it's money, and because, you know, like And like I say this 100 times, and people don't understand what I say, but the worst thing for a pimp is to realize that he's a hoe to pimping. So if Rollo Tomassi came out right now and said, you know what? Listen, guys, my wife is not just a unicorn. About 35-40% of the women in the world can be my wife. She's just a regular lady. And you just gotta do some good vetting and search them well, right? And find them at the right spot in life, and this, that, and this. He can't say that. He can't say that because he says it's anti-biology. I mean, it's not like Rollo Tomassi is not a scientist, right? I mean, he's not an evolutionary scientist, is he? Like, no. He's not an evolutionary biologist, is he?
No, he's just a researcher. But
right.
I think most of his research comes from anecdotes and his own personal experience. So,
and so I'm not besmirching the guy. I will say this though: we can get off on the tangent all we want, but I'll just bring it back to DJ Akademiks and Rollo Tomassi. That Rollo Tomassi probably had no idea what DJ Akademiks was going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, I know I'm in a couple of private chat groups, and a lot of folks is like, "Oh, it's probably a publicity stunt." And I got to disagree. I think that if AK wanted to blow Rollo up, or if Myron and them wanted to blow Rollo up, he would interview him, or he would go on their show. But AK has no interest in that because honestly, he said he is a businessman and he's in for business and making a bag, and he just doesn't see the value in that. So, like, if people want to go with a work ethic, he probably sees Myron and Fresh's work ethic, 5 shows, 10 shows a week forever, and says, "Oh man, these guys come over here, they're going to have some output, and we're going to make a lot of money." That's probably very good for him. He looks at Brittany Renner, pretty articulate, wants ready to do the work now. Been viral a few times. Now's the time. Maybe she wants to do it. He looks at WAC 100, and everybody who DJ Akademiks can't talk to, WAC can talk to music-wise. So it's just a fit. DJ Akademiks has all of these folks, but he has the younger folks. WAC has the OGs. WAC can get the OGs that maybe like the more legacy acts, or the people who were associated with Nipsey Hussle, or the Kendrick Lamars and stuff like that. They'll talk to AK, right? Because AK is Game's manager. Game is really tight with Kendrick Lamar and Snoop and else, so he can get those. So they'll talk to WAC 100. Excuse me, I was saying AK. And so AK probably looks at that and says, "Whoa, this is a whole lane of entertainment that I don't have access to." But as you can see how I laid it out, everybody he's dealing with, he's looking at how it can make him more money because he wants more money. And if you come along with him, then that's fine, because he said, "I didn't give up 10 years of my life to not come out the other side to be the boss of bosses."
So I think that's the main reason why he started to go on that rant and that tirade and release a separate clip on Rollo Tomassi, because he wants to make it known to the whole YouTube space, the YouTube community space that's involved with Fresh and Fit, involved this whole manosphere, red pill space that we somehow are magically in. So thank you for welcoming us. But the thing is,
because our background's red.
Oh, is that why? Why? Actually, it was just a dope color. That's why we picked it. But anyway, so the whole purpose of that video, of that tirade, of that tangent that he went on against Rollo Tomassi, is that he wants it to be known that he's the gatekeeper to the mainstream if they want to go through the hip hop realm.
Only thing is that, we called it 3 weeks ago that DJ Akademiks that DJ Akademiks was Fresh and Fit's portal to the mainstream. That's what they want. They want a larger audience, and I don't think it's going to work under their current system. But if I also do think that, I said this on Duke and Don, that if they get the right management group and somebody actually works with them and cleans them up, either Fresh or Fresh and someone else, or Myron and Fresh can actually do that. But they would have to really change and pivot on their talking points and their points of view. The problem is that there's so much stuff in their past that if they blew up, it would just come back to haunt them again. So, I think there's a possibility. I don't think they're going to go away. I don't think they're going to get canceled, but I think that the biggest possibility is that they just stay in a red pill space, and then they got to fight all the people who are going after them, and it's just going to be a constant fight because they're unpopular in the red pill space.
So you really think that Fresh really wants to be stuck in that red pill manosphere space?
Absolutely not. I think that it was very telling when Fresh said, "Don't tell Myron." Mm-hmm. don't tell Myron. That was very telling. I mean, I just can't even, I can't imagine going to do an interview, me and you going to do an interview and me saying, don't tell Scott. Like that just doesn't make sense, right? Or you going to do an interview. I mean, the bottom line is that, first of all, they should be tied enough together as a duo, as these people who made all of this money, who have this business together, that either one of them wants to go with it. That's fine, that then just fucking go with it. Because I mean, this is the guy who made you $100,000 a month together, right? Why are you not continuing that stuff, right? Especially you're already there, you're already going on this media run. Why not do it that big? So that tells that to me that their relationship is either totally fabricated or not tight at all. But either way, I think, like I said, I think that we could just keep our eyes open and more stuff will come. I think that dealing with DJ Akademiks is good for them, but maybe good for them if they want to go mainstream, but they can't deal with DJ Akademiks to stay where they are.
What do you mean deal with DJ Akademiks? I
mean, like they can't.
Like, does Fresh and Fit want to be a subsidiary brand off of DJ Akademiks, his umbrella corporation company? I'm just saying, I'm speculating here.
I think they would if the money was right. I mean, I think they definitely would if the money was right, but they can't do it the way they're doing it because Ak can't get them a deal. He can't get money for them under their current thing. I mean, they've gone viral with Brittany Renner, right? So they could be like the bad guys like Ak. They could be like red pillish bad guys. They could be like misogynistic type bad guys, who get showed up all the time on their own show or something like silly like that. It could be this WWE stuff, but they're not going to be able to be legitimately like run their show with their talking points and how they want to do it under DJ Akademiks. So it's like they shouldn't even deal with him if they want to do that. They should just go back to making their money like they were, and just let Akademiks use their space every now and again. And maybe he'll get them a guest. He'll stop by with somebody every now and again and this, that, but that's it, right? But that, and just keep having pretty bimbos on there who aren't going to push back.
Well, the real question is who wants the mainstream more, Myron or Fresh? Who's happy with their current situation more, Myron or Fresh?
Myron's happy. Myron's not worried about the situation because Myron's the big guy in the white manosphere. I mean, people go after him. People don't like him. But I mean, he has Rollo Tomassi, he has Donovan Sharp. These are good friends, right? Fresh wants a bigger audience. I mean, every time you see Fresh he's the guy who's sitting there, marketing. He's the guy who's sitting there networking. He's the guy who's taking a picture with Jadakiss, taking a picture with all of these different rappers and stuff. He's the guy in a club every night. Myron's at home. So, I mean, Myron's at home filming Fetted.
So would Myron be anything of value for what DJ Akademiks wants to do with Fresh and Fit if they happen to go towards the mainstream route, interviewing mainstream artists and rappers and social media influencers?
I don't think Myron has the ability with just how many times he's just thrown out women and been like that. I mean, what women are going to really deal with him after the Asian doll? What woman's going to deal with him? It's like, could you imagine Myron like interviewing Nicki Minaj? It's just or Cardi B. Cardi B, Nicki, it's not going to happen like that,
Because that also makes me wonder, like, does Myron, like, since DJ Akademiks has introduced Fresh and Fit to the whole world of what it would take to become mainstream, if I was Myron and I'm in this whole thing, I would feel like a sort of tension and discomfort that maybe I'm not ready yet to be in the mainstream spotlight. And in fact, I would be questioning, do I really want this? And then what would Fresh be thinking at the same time? As Fresh, as you can tell, he's like a moth going towards the light. Like that's exactly what he wants. So it's almost like at this point, who has the ultimate power in this whole relationship? Because you have to include DJ Akademiks into this, because it seems like DJ Akademiks is also urging them towards the mainstream. I don't know. That's just something I'm picking up. But
I think that DJ Akademiks is telling them, you want this mainstream. This is how you can get it. You can get it with me. You want it. You can get it with me. Right. And trust me, that's the only avenue they've seen open to them. Like no one else has reached out to him for that mainstream. Now, look, plenty of Red Pill reached out to him. Like people want to go on, want to deal with them. I mean, they got 500,000 subscribers plus, so it's not like they're suffering, right? But 500,000, people don't understand. 500,000 is so different. Like just like this guy said, they have 500,000. They're like 13 months, and I'm like, bro, 500,000 is so different than 12 million. Yeah.
when it comes to the creator economy, people really don't understand, like off of 10,000 subscribers and off of building out your social media platforms and Instagram and Twitter, you make yourself a fine living off of just 10,000 subscribers. So imagine what it'd be like with 100,000 subscribers. Then imagine how much it would be with 500,000 subscribers. And that depends on how you utilize your platform and your brand in promoting different services and marketing different services and working with different sponsors.
Well, one of the things that a lot of folks have noticed is that since the Asian doll issue, there's been a lot of restricted videos. Their videos have been restricted.
Like I said, I mentioned this before previously, that YouTube most likely has an eye on them now.
Yeah.
Now there's a human reviewer that's actually watching their channel a little bit more closely,
and so
through all the different moves that they've been making.
And so, like, it probably behooves them to, like, if you're talking about anyone who means to be platform agnostic, it probably behooves them to get a little more platform agnostic. I know that they stream on Twitch, but
and Patreon, I think too, right? So
yeah, they have a Patreon, but as your boy Roberto Blake said, Twitch is very low revenue generating.
Yeah.
I got to give it to him. I've been watching him. I've been like, word. Yeah,
the guy's the guy.
And like, it's just like Orlando Minor with real estate, 7,000 subscribers making six figures, mid six figures. I mean, like solid six figures, not like, I made 101,000, but like some more money. And he opened up his books and the lead attorney was talking about it. So yeah, but the thing is, it's a difference between, you got 1 million, 2 million, 3 million subscribers, 11 million subscribers, 10 million subscribers. You get big like that for a few years, and that's when you can get the Spotify deal. That's when you can get a different deal on your own. That's when you can get a television deal, stuff like that. That's how you work it there, right? When you don't have that, that's when you kind of suffer. I mean, and the people who they've been dealing with are normally the type of content creators they've dealt with, Fresh and Fit. And this is the last thing I want to say. They've all been creators who came up through the internet. Right. So Adam 22, Vlad has a huge internet platform, but he didn't.
Schultz too, I believe.
Andrew Schultz actually got comedy specials off of his work through the pandemic, and bet on themselves and financing himself. And of course, DJ Akademiks, right? And so there's kind of a blueprint out there where they felt like, oh, well, these guys did it this way, I could do it this way too. But I just don't think that being as controversial as they are, and like, you're just not going to make a great platform throwing women out in this day and age. Get out of here, punish them for doing this bad behavior and all of this weird stuff instead of having genuine conversations with people.
And especially with this, especially Fresh wants to emulate like a rap artist lifestyle, or at least someone in the hip hop industry. The money that he needs to generate to have that lifestyle is what? Big. It needs to, yes. And throwing off women who happen to be part of the hip hop lifestyle, I don't see hip hop artists treating their women like that.
Well,
not like outright like that. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, here's the deal. You don't treat featured artists like that. Period. You can't treat a featured artist like that. I mean, because if you treat a featured artist like that, because here's the deal: if you treat a featured artist like that, then another artist is going to be like, well, all right, so how about anybody of Asian Doll's caliber? Why would they go on Fresh and Fit? All right, so let's go a caliber above it. Why would they go there? Or they're going to have people with them.
Well, like Brittany Renner.
Yeah. Brittany Renner wouldn't.
She avoided it, right? She said that their platform was too small.
And she said it was too small and not interesting. And then she asked them in an interview, she said, when you throw it out, how does it make you feel inside? Because when I tell you that you ain't shit, it makes me feel a certain way inside. How does it make you feel inside when you throw a woman out or when you say that?
And so that actually revealed a lot, that she did pay attention to their content, because she says she doesn't play, that it seemed like she didn't pay attention to their content at all. But in fact, she paid attention to what they were saying, how they've been saying, and their actions on their platform. So why would she put herself in a position to look like an idiot by these two knuckleheads? I'm just, killing Fresh and Fit fans by these two guys, and embarrass her to her audience. What's in it for her?
Why would anyone do that?
Yeah.
Why would anyone with a following do that for them? Why would anyone in a following do that for 500,000 subscribers?
That's a social media personality, or a personality in the media industry machine.
How many Instagram followers does Brittany Renner have?
Over 1 million or something.
Then why would you do 500,000? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Well, a million Instagram would be like a couple 100,000 on YouTube.
But
on the relative ratio, YouTube is kind of like the king.
yeah, but it's still to her, it doesn't make sense, right? She can go somewhere and she can get on. I mean, she just did Kevin Samuels.
Yeah,
she did Kevin Samuels for 1.2 million, and so why would she?
But see, that's what I'm trying to say. As a media personality, I look at Kevin Samuels' content, and in fact, they spent a day together with the whole Fresh and Fit with Myron being brought in the same room with Brittany Renner. From what you tell me, and from what it seems like DJ Akademiks has said, that Myron didn't even know that he was walking into an interview like that.
No,
you know what I mean? So at least with Brittany Renner, when she was Kevin Samuels, she knew what she was walking into. Now going into Fresh and Fit, she wouldn't know what she was walking into. She'd always just appeared on their platform, on that table, behind that table, surrounded with a bunch of different other girls, where now Myron has control of the setting in that room.
And like, it's just a bad situation. It would be a bad situation. Like, I mean, if I and like I said, like, you know, I do think Fresh and Fit is a case study of how to do things in a reverse way. Like, you know, we look at it, like one of the things you said was just turn down the microphones if it was bothering you, and just stuff like that. It just makes sense. But anyhow, I could say that it was very interesting to me what DJ Akademiks said to them, what he said to Rollo Tomassi, what he said about Fresh and Fit. I think everybody should watch the interview. A lot of information could be gleaned through the interview. He's very transparent, but I don't think there's much more to break down. We've done a pretty good job of it. You have any more questions?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, as always, we just thank everybody for rocking with us. You can follow me on the gram at I am Gorilla1. You can follow this guy at Scott.TIEEE. That's 3 E's.
All right, good, because I even forgot my own handle.
I got your back, man. I got your back.
Right.
You can follow us on all social media outlets at the TIP Network, THPP Network.
Consolidated into one word.
Consolidated. And of course, like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can ask yourself one burning question.
Can you handle it?
That's right. Back at it like a crack addict.